Hello and welcome, explorers. I'm Carol Jean Whittington, your head trail guide, and I am so glad you made it to the Campfire Kickoff for our very first CASY Summer Camp, your compass to self-care. We are beyond thrilled to welcome over 200 explorers to camp and love that we have had so many fabulous self care topics submitted by our community that you will have the opportunity to explore during this camp, fun filled and playful summer of self care adventures. Whether you're here for rest, curiosity, clarity, connection, or just to see what feels right, you're in the right place. This summer is all about gentle exploration, community care, and creating a vision of self care that works for you. No pressure, no perfection, just presence. Let's kick things off by welcoming the incredible people who helped make this camp possible. Our Casey Sparks Camp co-directors, Dr. Dawn Prince Hughes and Dr. Roger Jow. Dawn, why don't you kick us off?
I'm so excited about this. There are so many milestones that are just agony for us, right? I still have nightmares about going to high school or, prom or summer camp, any of those things. So I love that we're just reclaiming this idea, a summer camp of self-care full of autistic people that are going to support each other, be patient with one another. We're always such a great group for each other, and I've always been proud of that. And I want to thank Carol Jean for making all of this possible. It's been, as many of you know, who have been with us for a while, quite a year and a half since we went global. This gives me a little chance to just rest and do some self-care, and hopefully Roger as well. Through this last, off and on through the last several years, we've had people request care and support, and that really falls beyond our cultural purview. It's not really something we focus on. But Carol Jean has done a brilliant job of sort of shaping this self-care into a cultural context, and I love that. So yeah, I'm happy to be a passenger, a camp goer this time. I can't wait to see everything that unfolds. Roger?
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. First off, thank you so much, Carol Jean, for this Herculean effort and putting all of this together. And welcome everyone, whether you've been with Casey since 2014 or you're joining for the first time today. What you're going to see here is truly remarkable on so many different levels. Even on the ground level, I can't stop thinking, wow. Carol Jean has put together something very special and unlike anything we've ever explored in Casey. And we've done a lot of exploring. I not only want to acknowledge her, but also the dozens of members of our global neurodivergent community who are contributing here for the common good. Now, on another level, and this is from the perspective of a person who's seen Casey develop and grow over the past 10 years, I am utterly speechless in the best possible way. This is such an important milestone for Casey. Quite beautifully and completely organically, what you are about to experience embodies some of the things we value most. So mutual support, relentless exploration, and constant learning. Just like our cultural autism studies, which Dawn has spearheading, it's created by and for the autistic community. I also can't thank Dawn enough for all she has done and she continues to do. So 10 years ago, when Casey started, I would have never imagined that it would become what it is today. Yet, and this is more exciting, is that we are still developing and growing. It's a continuous process of open exploration and charting our progress. And I want to thank everyone for being part of it.
Thank you, Dawn and Roger. It is such a wonderful thing to hear your hearts around Casey and around what this summer camp is all about. Let's go a little further and meet the rest of the team, right? Well, my team, I mean me. I'll be your head trail guide this summer. I'm Carol Jean Whittington, and I'm here to help you find your own rhythm, not to follow mine or anyone else's. My role here this summer is to open the space, support your exploration, and offer practices and tools rooted in autistic well-being and nervous system safety. I have spent the last 5 years researching the roots of autistic well-being and also what is the biggest energy drain? What are the things that create autistic burnout, what I call spicy burnout for us? And so everything that we have brought together here, Dawn and Roger and I, from all of the beautiful presentations that were submitted and the topics around cultural self-care for autistics, these were all chosen because there are things that enhance our well-being in ways that truly work and relate to us and for us. And that doesn't mean that everything's going to be for everybody. So you're open to pick and choose what works for you. This camp is not about doing more. We do way too much. That's how we have usually gotten into burnout. It's about learning to do what's yours to do. And that you have the agency, the autonomy, the self-power, and you are the leader in your own life, and you get to choose what things are for you, or to explore and discover this summer, to find what those things truly are. So, what is CASY Summer Camp? Let me share what camp is all about. It is absolutely free. There is no cost for anything included in camp this summer. And it's all virtual, online. The best part is that you can do this whenever you want, wherever you want. This is specifically created for autistic adults 18 and over. The active live portion of camp, as everything unlocks week by week, so you don't get overwhelmed, because I know also sometimes my ADHD is like, oh, it's all the things and I want to do all the things. And then I have like pervasive demand for autonomy shows up. And then I'm like, no, I'm overwhelmed and I don't want to do all this at one time. This is too much. So everything unlocks week by week. There's nothing more than 2 short videos, and it also comes with transcripts if you're a text person. And I also have like little cheat sheets that I include so that you can follow along in the way that works best for you. But the active part of camp runs from June 23rd, starting June 23rd on Monday, all the way through August the 3rd. And we're going to have a big live event that's our closing ceremony at the virtual lodge on August the 3rd that you're invited to. Everything in the program is on demand. It's self-paced. You choose what you do and when, and it's based in autistic cultural elements like values, norms, and rituals. Camp is like a big, beautiful buffet. You choose what feels good, skip what doesn't. You don't have to do it all. And you don't have to do it in any particular order. You can save it all up and binge watch at the end, or you can skip around and pick and choose as we go. It's totally up to you. And please invite a friend. There is no specific time frame that says you have to join and go through this at the very beginning in order to enjoy it. If you've got a friend or you come across somebody, I don't know, 3 weeks from now, and you're like, hey, we're halfway through, you want to join us and do this? Absolutely. And Roger and Dawn and I all wanted to make sure that this is available throughout the year to support you. So this isn't going to go away. We're going to have this specific area under the guides tab on Facebook where you can go and pick any of these things, redo them, because you're going to have a different approach, different times of your life throughout the year. This is also available on the CASY YouTube channel. There's a specific playlist for summer camp, and it'll live over there as well if that's someplace you would prefer to access information rather than go into the Facebook group. So here's how you can participate, how it works. Each Sunday, we unlock a new compass point. That's the week's theme ahead from our cultural elements, all 6 elements. And there's a different element of culture each week, from values to rituals, symbols, language, all of those things. You'll get your downloads by email after this kickoff. So everything that was created for this is meant to be fun, because play, joy, and laughter, fun, are really key components of well-being and our self-care. So I created a trail map that's a coloring page, and it's so much fun. I had the best time creating this. So it has a little bit of everything there for you. You can pick and choose where you want to start on the trail map. Color it in as you go. Maybe color it while you're listening to a presentation. Then there is the Navigator's Journal. This is just a place if you want to go a little deeper. It has some reflection points, some journaling prompt questions. It has some little food for thought things for each week, and you can pair it with wherever you decide to jump in, or whichever presentation and topic of cultural well-being and self-care you'd like to play with. And I have a badge coloring page because this is camp. But here's the thing. You've already earned all of these badges. You don't have to do anything for these badges to be yours. They're already yours. You've already earned them just by showing up, by being here. This is also a coloring page, and Adam Hazlett and I had so much fun. We were talking the other day when we were preparing for his talk, and we both said we want to color these in, cut them out, and make like a sash like the kid from Up, because it was so fun. It was so cute. And if you want to do something like that, great. If you don't, that's fine. If you want to maybe color them and put them on a poster board, or hey, I don't know, you might come up with something really fun and creative. Take a picture, share it in the Facebook group. We love to celebrate all of the things that each and every one of you are doing. So the full camp schedule is this. It's 6 weeks, and each week will unlock that particular topic. And the weekly content is also in the CASY Facebook group under the Guides tab that is now located at the very top underneath the main image in the Facebook group. You'll see discussion, featured events, guides is right there as well. You can also watch all these sessions on the CASY YouTube channel in the summer camp playlist, and that link will be included in your email. I'll also make sure it's available in our Getting Started package here that will be included in your download section in the Facebook group under guides. Just to get us started, I'm also going to have these posted over on my YouTube channel, just because that way, as Roger's uploading stuff, it can be there and accessible for you right away. And then that way you can also get it over on CASY after camp is over. So you'll have 2 places you can kind of get started. We're trying to juggle all of the people and the uploading. So there we go. I'm really excited about this component. On Saturday evenings, you can join us for Compass Crew Campfires. It's gentle, small group conversations to share what you're discovering and exploring in self-care each week. This is totally optional, but I know that not everybody loves connection in live events, but some people, like I've got some really great friends, are like, it's hard for me to do like self-paced or on demand sometimes. I might be able to read something here and there, but the live stuff is so much easier for me to do, and it really feels more comfortable. Or I just really want to maybe start exploring being in community and connection, and that community supported self-care that AJ Lacacious shared. So I really want to make sure that if this is for you, great. If it's not, it's okay. And you don't have to attend all of these. You don't have to sign up. It is going to be every Saturday evening. I'll be hosting it in a Zoom room. We'll break out into small groups of no more than 5 people in each room, depending on how many people we have. We're going to keep them small, so everybody has a chance to share. And it's a little less stressful. I have ADHD, so I know it's like, well, when do I jump in? Or I immediately want to jump in. And so we're going to keep these super small, so you have an opportunity to get to meet other people in our CASY community as well, because all of our hearts and our sparkles are so beautiful, and I want us to all get to know each other better. This is just, if you want to jump in and join, great. If you've got time to come to one of them, perfect. Show up for one of them. It's no big deal. If you just want to show up with your camera off and just be present in the room and just listen, that's okay too. We'll have a way that you can share, hey, I'm just here to listen. I'm really just not in a place to share today. And that's okay. You can have your camera on, you can unmute, you can talk, or you can just use the chat and some emojis, whatever feels best for you. This is not about doing it in a way that somebody says, hey, this is how we do this. This is about you finding what works for you. This is practicing some self-care. And we've added canteen time, which is super short, 5-minute or less videos. They're little micro self-cares from our kickoff trail guides to help you get started with your self-care path right away. So we've got 3 mini sessions to highlight. We have one on belongingness from Kim Burney Brook. We have one from Becca Lori Hector on autistic quality of life. And we have one from Sam Farmer about really connecting with yourself. And they're so beautiful. So make sure you do those. They're available right after this event. Each week, we explore one cultural element of autistic self-care. In week 1, we're diving into values, what truly matters. Our Trailblazer talks are from Shalese Hurd on neurodivergent financial self-care and Bridgette Hamstead, the self-care of no. In week 2, we'll be discussing norms, redefining the rules. I don't know about you, but I like to make up my own rules. Our Trailblazer talks will be from Allie Ryan on Audacious Wholeness and Cecilia Hernandez and Marianismo and Autism. On week 3, we'll be diving into language, expression as care. We'll be joined by Dr. Adam Hazlett, and he's going to be talking about the PB&J framework. I don't know about you, but I love a good PB&J. And Rachel Furey will be presenting on journaling and writing for self-compassion. And you're going to love this one, especially if maybe you've wanted to journal and you didn't know where to start. Or if you've been journaling for a long time, this is going to take you even deeper on some places maybe you hadn't thought of before. In week 4, we're diving into symbols, finding meaning. This is going to be so playful. This is where we weave in our creativity and our artistic expression. And our first Trailblazer talk is going to be presented by Becca Cook. And her topic is artistic expression as communication. Nathan Spoon, our beautiful poet here in the group, is presenting on poetry for rest and joy. And y'all, I wrote a poem as he was taking me through, and I was recording his session, and I wrote my poem on my little fern on my desk. I call her Fernie. So I'll share that poem with you guys in the group. On week 5, we dive into artifacts, tools of thriving. Our Trailblazer talks are from Piper Hudson, who is a phenomenal gallery and instructor at the collegiate level, and she's just amazing. And her topic is sensory sovereignty through neuroaesthetic practice. And Jenny Parks is going to be talking about decolonizing healing and wellness. And in our final week 6, we're focusing on rituals, and I thought this was the perfect place to wrap up. It's around practices that ground us. Our Trailblazer talks are from Victor Wang, discussing grief rituals and self-connection. And y'all, this is a really big one. This is a big one for all of us, I know, because we all talk about it at some point in some way and how we might be doing it differently than maybe how other people expect us to. And there's a lot of compassion and understanding in how we process and experience neurodivergent grief. So I'm really excited for this talk. And Dina Persia is going to be presenting on stimulation rituals, STEM rituals. And I'm super excited about this one. This is going to be so much fun. All Trailblazer talks are 30 minutes or less and focus on lived experience, applicable strategies, and ways to care for your whole self, your mind, your body, your energy, your spirit. Oh my goodness. I had so much fun putting this collage of our trail guides together. I am really tickled because we had over 43 topics submitted. And we said, hey, we're going to put together a self-care event this summer, and we would love your topics on self-care. And here's sort of the outline of what we're looking for. We had 43. And Oh my goodness. When Roger and Dawn and I looked at these, we were just over the moon because every single one of them was amazing. And we couldn't say no to any of them. So we said yes. We said yes to all 43. However, to make camp doable and to make sure that we were aligned with time and what we were doing, sort of from the structural side of things, we selected 22 presenters for this summer collectively, and everyone else we invited to join us during the regular season so that we can move deeper and continue this conversation throughout the year and into next year around what autistic self-care is through our cultural lens. And we are so honored to have 12 amazing autistic trail guides leading this summer's Trailblazer Talk. So there's 2 each week, and I've paired them all here on this beautiful graphic as you get to see all the gorgeous faces, all the colors, all the variety. I loved the pictures that people sent in. This made me so happy. It was so much fun. And our trail guides, we have side quest because I always believe in a little side quest. I believe in having a little fun, and my ADHD squirrels like to have some little offshoot adventures. And so I wanted to make sure we had those too because we couldn't quite cover or fit everything into these 6 categories. So we said, hey, let's look at some exploration zones. So we have communication, and we have communication with AI because that's a really big thing. And I know a lot of us have been talking about how we're using it to really kind of like, okay, here's some text messages that I got, popping in ChatGPT is like, okay, what are they saying? What, tell me what I'm missing here. Tell me what the context is, or how can I respond to this, from this particular perspective? Or, okay, here's the email, but my boss keeps telling me I need to be a little softer and not so direct and short. Can you kind of fluff this email up that I can copy and send out to my team? Those types of things, because those really kind of come in. And so we have a section on communication and really exploring these beautiful areas. Oh, here we go. And because I know that right now our trans community really needs love and care and self-care in this area. So we have 2 amazing presenters. We have Ellie Michaels and Dr. Bex Canner, who are going to be sharing what self-care is from the autistic trans lens. And we have body-based practices because, hey, what's a little self-care that you're not tapping into your physical body, right? So we have Tanya Roberts and Elizabeth Malunas, Libby, who are sharing some fabulous STEM meditation, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't sit still when I meditate, and I am an actual meditation instructor. So I don't do that. And Tanya doesn't either. It's really fabulous. And Libby is doing some earth element yoga, and it's adaptable. So if you're like me and you have co-occurring health conditions and you need to be seated or even maybe lie down, you can do that. And she's got all of the ways that you can do this in a really approachable, doable section. And all of this is going to be on demand. You can check them out however you like. Dr. Allie Perkinson and Dr. Jordan Carmack are our big prisoners there in the exploration zone in those communication topics. And I just think you're going to love it and really enjoy it. And today, we have our trail guides, our kickoff trail guides. We have Kim Burney-Bruck, AJ Lacascio, Becca Lori Hector, Sam Farmer, and I'm so tickled to death. Philip wasn't able to join us this year, but that's okay. He'll get with us later in the year, I know. Kim's gonna be talking about belongingness. Sam's talking about how do we focus and really start to connect with ourselves. AJ is talking about community self-care, which is really, really something we value here. And it's why we're doing things the way that we're doing them, because, it's us, right? And Becca Lori Hector is talking about autistic quality of life. And I cannot wait to share their video clips with you, because the micro canteen time section, that's coming up and it's related to exactly what they're sharing here. So I know you're going to love it. Each one of our guides have created something special, something meaningful and rooted in real world care. If you're a trail guide joining us live, feel free to say hello in the chat or turn your camera on for a quick wave. We're so thrilled to all be here together. This is what's super special about everything that we do, because we don't have to do it alone if you don't want to. We can do it with others. And I love that we're collectively here together. Now it's time to hear from our kickoff trail crew guides. a group of thoughtful, passionate, autistic voices offering their take on what self care means and why it matters. So let's watch Kim Burney Brook, who will share insights on belongingness. Next, we'll hear from Sam Farmer, focusing on cultivating a sense of self. Then, Becca Lori Hector will enlighten us on autistic quality of life. And finally, AJ Lacascio will guide us on community, self care, and self advocacy. Let's enjoy.
Hi, so I'm here to talk about belongingness and how belongingness impacts self-care and what you can do about it. I'm going to start with a quick story that my niece was reading to me last night, which was so beautiful. It's called Gustavo the Ghost. He was a very shy ghost. And Gustavo decided he wanted to be friends with all the other monsters in his world. And he wasn't sure how to be friends with those other monsters, but he knew he wanted to be in those circles because he wanted to feel like he belonged in those spaces. So Gustavo would try by showing up and being close to those monsters. So in each one of those spaces, he would either be a lamp where they might be reading. In one of them, he was a sheet outside hanging on a laundry line. And then in another one, he was a canvas that somebody was painting a picture on. And Gustavo was showing up in those spaces, but nobody could see him. He wasn't being seen. And so when you think about belonging or belongingness, that state of belonging, you want to be seen. You want to be heard. You want to be valued for who you are and what you bring to the table. And you want people to be excited to see you. So you want to feel like you really matter. Because when we matter, that's when we start to belong. And so Gustavo decided to try a different tactic. So Gustavo, in the story, decided to have a violin concert because he loved to play the violin. It was where his heart was. And in this, he decided, he invited all of the other monsters to this concert that he was doing on his recital. And nobody showed up. It was time for the concert to start. His parents were super proud of him. And he decided to just okay, no one's here. And he was very disappointed. So he decided to start playing that violin. And the music flowed throughout the entire area where he lived. And he started to glow because that was something that Gustavo could do, was glow. And actually, all of the other monsters heard his music because they got lost. And so his music brought them to where he was. And they were so excited to hear Gustavo's music and to see Gustavo glow. So when we think about belonging and self-care, Gustavo knew that playing the violin and finding that space where he was how he could show up. And people would then see him, they could hear him. And he also felt like then he could belong and he really mattered in the world that he was in to the other people. So it was just such a beautiful story. And one of the things that was really lovely about it is that he belonged to himself through his music. So he found that space for him to belong. And so that was just so lovely. And I hope as we go through this journey together, that you'll find moments of where you can belong as well. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Farmer, and I'm here to talk about strategies that can be used to cultivate sense of self. One of which is the importance of self-acceptance, the notion that we are worthy of this regardless of the kinds of challenges and adversities that we face. And that without self-acceptance, in my view, we really aren't going to be able to find true happiness and success in life. And that really matters because we only have one life to live. This is easier said than done. It took me many years, many small steps forward, over a long, long period of time, a couple of steps back, because sometimes we need to move back before we're ready to move forward, but I did eventually get there. The other thing to keep in mind is the importance of holding realistic expectations, not only of ourselves, but of others. Simply because if our expectations are too inflated, we set ourselves up to be let down. There were numerous examples of this over the course of my life, lessons that I learned the hard way from expecting too much of people, expecting too much of myself, to where nothing that I did really was good enough for me, and where I was comparing myself to other people in all the wrong ways, comparing what I viewed as my own shortcomings to what I perceived as other people's strengths. When you make those kinds of comparisons, it's a losing proposition. So thankfully, I eventually learned that lesson. Third, and perhaps most importantly, the notion that no matter what we're going through, no matter who we are, what we run into in terms of what other people dish out or say about us, etc., only we get to define who we are. Nobody else can do that for us. Nobody else but ourselves. It's important to listen to what other people have to say, but it is up to us and only us to choose what we want to take to heart in terms of what other people say to us and what is worth dismissing. And what I would argue is worth dismissing is what the haters and the naysayers and those who are overly critical of us have to say, that they do not deserve our attention, in my view. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Becca Lori Hector and I'm thrilled to be joining you for this Campfire Kickoff event. When we talk about quality of life, it's easy to think about big picture goals, financial security, career success, or relationships. But the truth is, our quality of life is built in the small moments, often through the lens of self-care. For many of us, especially those of us who are neurodivergent or disabled, self-care isn't a luxury, it's survival. It's the intentional, often invisible work of meeting our own needs in a world that wasn't designed really with us in mind. So today I want to share 3 insights that I've learned about self-care and how they directly impact quality of life. First of all, self-care is not one size fits all. There's a lot of noise out there about what self-care should look like, right? We're often told it's bubble baths and yoga and journaling and meditation. But authentic self-care is about recognizing your actual needs and responding with compassion. For me, that looks like setting strict boundaries around rest, creating sensory-friendly spaces, and building flexibility into my work schedule. So ask yourself, what do I need? And not what do others expect from me? That question can be really transformative all by itself. Number 2, self-care is sustainable. We often push ourselves to the edge, treating self-care like a last resort after we've already reached burnout. But when we build a routine of self-care into our daily lives, we create a sustainable rhythm, right? So instead of crashing and recovering, we just stay kind of rooted and balanced, right? And that is something that as simple as a daily check-in with your body and mind is the beginning of that kind of thing, right? Or you can be really intentional and redesign your calendar around your energy and not just your obligations. This is something that I have chosen to do. Number 3 is self-care is self-trust. For a long time, I didn't trust my own cues. I overrode my instincts to rest, to stim, to say no to certain things. But over time, I've learned that the more I listen to myself, the more my life aligns with what actually supports me, right? Self-care isn't selfish. That's a misnomer. It's strategic. It's how we preserve our energy to show up in the world to our fullest and as our most authentic selves. So as you enter this new season and this new campfire experience, I encourage you to treat self-care not as a task, but as a relationship, one built on awareness and honesty and kindness towards self. That's where quality of life begins. I thank you so much for sharing this moment with me, and I can't wait to hear what goes on throughout the rest of the event.
Hello, fellow travelers. Welcome to CASY Summer Camp. I'm AJ Locascio, the founder and executive director of Umbrella ND. I'm here as your trail guide for community care and self-advocacy. Let me give a visual description really quickly. I am a short genderqueer person with medium curly black hair with blue bangs. I have glasses, and I am wearing a blue Schoolhouse Rocks t-shirt that says knowledge is power. Just think about being in a summer camp, and whether it's this virtual summer camp or whether it is one that is out in nature, there are other people like you who love those kinds of events, and they're there with you. All of you are just attendees at a camp. You're not just attendees at a camp. You are a community of self-advocates who have already made a powerful choice by being here tonight. Let's talk about self-care and why self is not enough. Over the next 6 weeks, you'll be exploring self-care through the lens of autistic culture. But I want to start with a truth bomb. The idea of self-care without interdependence is BS. Look, bubble baths, meditation apps, they have their place for sure. But when we're told to just practice more self-care while navigating a world that's not built for us, that's like being given a Band-Aid for a gaping wound. The pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality is exhausting. And it places all of the responsibility on you to fix problems that aren't yours to begin with. So let's look at community care. Here's what I know after years in this work. Self-advocacy is most powerful when it's community supported. You are all self-advocates. The moment you decide your needs mattered enough to join this camp, you advocated for yourself. Maybe you even advocated for others by inviting them and sharing the opportunity with them. But here's the thing. Nobody has to do this alone. You are not just a self-advocate. You are a community-supported self-advocate. And the care that you are getting right now is community-supported self-care. Think for just a minute about the advocate energy cycle. We move through phases of insight, ignition, instigation, reflection, and respite or rest. Regardless of where we are in the cycle, stressors are pushing on us and using our energy. And when we try to sustain that alone, we hit that wall that you and I both know all too well. Trauma, crisis, and ultimately burnout. I know that sounds familiar. Community care changes the game. When you're in reflection and need to step back, someone else in your community can be in the ignition phase and carry the momentum. When you're struggling to find your voice, your community can amplify it. And when you need respite or rest, your community holds the space for healing. So, what really is community-supported self-advocacy and self-care? It's weaponized collaboration. I mean that in the most beautiful way. It means that you recognize that you know your needs best and that sharing those needs with others creates collective power. Understanding that your self-advocacy journey isn't linear, and that's how it's supposed to be, We don't do linear for the most part. And that's exciting that it doesn't have to be. We get to be on our journey and just go fluid through it. Knowing there's no right way to advocate. Whether you speak up loudly, communicate through writing, or advocate through your very presence, it all is unique to you. Over the next few weeks, as you explore values, norms, language, symbols, artifacts, and rituals, I invite you to think beyond individual self-care and ask yourself, how can the values we're exploring become shared community values? What norms can we create together that support all of us? And how can our language become a tool for collective advocacy? You're not just here to learn about self-care. You're here to reimagine what thriving looks like when we do it together. And that means when somebody is supporting you when you need it, and they have the energy to do that, and you supporting others when they need it, and you have energy to do that. Let's look at the community cure. Reproductive justice activist Lori Bertram Roberts said, "It was never self-care that helped me through the toughest times. It was always my community pulling me through." This camp is community care in action. You're not just participants, you're co-creators of something bigger. So as you begin this journey, remember, you're already a self-advocate. You already belong here, and you're not walking this trail alone. Of course, you can always have the alone time when it works for you, because that's part of your journey too. But you will still know that you have a community supporting you. Know that your compass is set not just toward personal wellness, but collective thriving. Because when autistic people support autistic people, when we create the rules that work for us, when we practice community care, that's how we change everything. Welcome to CASY Summer Camp. Welcome to your community. We are going to change the rules together. Let's light this campfire and get started.
Wow, weren't those amazing? I mean, really, your heart, I know my heart is so full. Now that we've set our compass, here's what's next. Check your inbox in about 30 minutes or so following this event for all your materials. So if you registered and signed up with your email because you like to get stuff in your inbox or it's just easier for you to keep up with things, your email will be sent on Sundays to let you know when the new week's module has unlocked. You can access it on the Facebook group or in YouTube. All of your download materials are available in both of those places as well. And I also made it to where these are also Google Docs that you can just copy and save. So, if you're maybe not in Facebook and don't have it where you download the PDF, or you're like, no, I am not an email person, I just want to watch it on the YouTube playlist and get my stuff there, then in the description section below the videos, I'll have a link for all of your information for your download, so you don't miss anything, so you can access this however works for you. So you're going to start with canteen time, and that'll be available this evening to start your micro self-care sessions. Those are 5 minutes or less. So it's like less than 15 minutes if you want to binge all 3 of them, or if you just want to pick one, that's totally okay. And you watch the others whenever. Week 1 will kick off tomorrow, and that will be our values trailblazer talks. And those will upload Monday morning around 10 o'clock and Sunday evenings each successive week. So join us in the Facebook group under guides or on the YouTube channel under the CASY Camp playlist to follow along during this summer session. Use your navigator's journal to reflect, to doodle, to jot things down, however you like. It is yours to play with. Explore the exploration zone, and that will be coming later this week. We'll unlock those progressively throughout the 6-week session, or you can choose to attend a Compass Crew campfire on Saturday nights if that feels good for you. And remember, you can hop in and out of any of this. You can do one thing and not ever do anything else. You can do all of it. You can do a mixture of something in between. You're in charge. There's no wrong way to be here. You get to take what works, skip what doesn't, and move at your own pace. Now for some closing reflections. Remember, go at your own pace, honor your journey, play, explore without expectations. Dawn and Roger, share some closing reflections for everyone, please.
I am just overwhelmed with happiness with what CASY has become. I've said from the beginning, we are more than the sum of the parts. And I mean that literally. We have become a greater mind together. And now we're becoming a greater heart than we could ever be by ourselves. I don't have a lot to say because I'm pretty choked up, quite frankly. Just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank you, Carol Jean, for all of your work and seeing where this started and how people have taken it and run with it. I just couldn't be more pleased. It's a lifelong dream fulfilled. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I think my closing reflection is actually a well-known quote by T.S. Eliot. And I think it's very relevant to our kickoff here. And it goes, "You shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time."
Thank you for being here tonight. Your presence was absolutely enough. Nothing added, nothing subtracted, nothing done differently would make this more enough than it already is. You are amazing. We'll see you on the trail this week as we begin with values, what truly matters. Until then, rest easy, explore gently, and know we're cheering you on every step of the way. And I want to give you a quick sneak peek of those fabulous badges. These are so much fun. So you can remember you've already earned them. They're already yours. They come on a big sheet. I had so much fun designing these, and each one goes along with each week. So however you want to do it, they're fun. They're available for you to color in, cut them out, do whatever feels good for you. Just remember, this is about doing things your way, not about doing things the way, quote unquote, you think you should or you have to. So just play and explore. And we're so excited to be doing it alongside you. Good night, explorers.